"You're nothing but a bum. You should just get divorced and leave this place." My mother-in-law spat at me, completely disregarding the fact that I have been shouldering my husband's massive debts, paying tens of thousands of dollars each month. My late father-in-law had always treated me kindly, and out of respect for him, I had silently continued to pay off those debts. "You're always glued to that PC or smartphone. Get a real job," she continued, her words dripping with disdain. Calling her a bum is being generous. "This woman hoards all our money," she accused, her animosity cutting deep. "My husband is foolish to disrespect me, the main breadwinner of this house. His betrayal, sanctioned by my late father-in-law, who entrusted me with his company, is unforgivable." "Fine, I'll leave," I declared abruptly, deciding to divorce and collect my things. I left my oblivious mother-in-law and husband to grapple with their debts, moving away with no intention to look back. As I packed, I knew their future held. "My name is Emily. I got married 9 years ago at 33, and we still don't have any children. I run a small printing company inherited from my late husband David and my father-in-law. 3 years ago, my father-in-law passed away, and before that, we lived with David's parents, assisting in their business. Originally, David had been groomed to take over the family business after university, and we rented a place nearby. When my father-in-law wanted David to succeed him due to old age, we moved in to support him. I quit my web design job to manage the printing company's operations. Currently, it's just David and me handling everything since we let go of the one employee my father-in-law had hired. Things were manageable when he was alive, but after his death, the family dynamics changed drastically. My mother-in-law constantly picks fights, blaming me for wandering around the house all day. She fails to see that I manage customer relations and data correction, which has significantly boosted sales. David struggles with computers, and they don't realize I'm the backbone of our operations. Their accusations have only intensified, especially since the arrival of Anna, a former employee and David's childhood friend. They were childhood friends, always in the same class from elementary to high school. After my father-in-law's funeral, Anna began frequenting our printing company. Having known Anna since childhood, she had a good rapport with my mother-in-law. I later learned that Anna was hired because my mother-in-law strongly recommended her to my father-in-law. While he was alive, he often criticized Anna for slacking off and producing careless, error-filled work. During the handover period, I witnessed firsthand how inept she was, struggling even with basic computer tasks, let alone accurate data entry. Critical documents like invoices had to be handwritten by my father-in-law before I could review them. Investigating her online activity, I found she spent most of her time on vulgar and dating websites. It was clear to me, and evidently to my father-in-law, that she wasn't suited for the job. Anna became my mother-in-law's confidant, but her lack of work ethic didn't impress my father-in-law, who valued hard work deeply. The real issue lies with David's change in attitude. While he used to work diligently alongside his father, he now echoes my mother-in-law's complaints. "You have it easy, just playing on the computer all day. It feels like I'm the only one taking this seriously," he accused me, influenced by both my mother-in-law and Anna. When my father-in-law was alive, such accusations never surfaced. Now, it's just the three of us, my mother-in-law, David, and I, living together. All I want is to preserve the printing company my father-in-law entrusted to us. Yet it's proving difficult, and headaches abound. Our orders have increased thanks to my precise data corrections, boosting sales. However, our financial woes persist due to my mother-in-law's and David's reckless spending habits. My mother-in-law splurges on luxury goods without restraint, ignoring warnings. Since David took over as CEO after his father's death, he too spends lavishly despite our small operation. Customers mistakenly see him as the second-generation CEO, fueling his misconceptions. After work, he frequently indulges in drinking, and my mother-in-law joins him for dinners out, further straining our finances. David even took out a substantial bank loan for a new venture without consulting me, burdening us with monthly repayments we can't afford. When I pressed him for details, he evaded my questions, possibly to fund his lavish lifestyle. Inheriting the CEO title and company seems to have inflated his desires and misjudgments. As I watch my own family fritter away money while I manage an increasing workload, my mother-in-law mistakenly believes our business thrives with ample income and continues to spend excessively. It's a perilous spiral. worsened by David's undisclosed loan repayments, amounting to several $100,000 monthly. I handle the finances, so I'm the one who has to make ends meet, but their spending never ceases, forcing me to take drastic measures. I explained our dire financial situation and put both my mother-in-law and David on a strict allowance. It seemed like a reasonable step, but they were unconvinced and began acting unbelievably. Your company seems to be doing well. Are you hiding money for yourself, Anna? A former employee stirred up suspicions. She suggested there might be cash or life insurance left by my late husband, and they took her word over mine. Whether they believed her or simply found her accusations convenient, Anna became a threat and a constant annoyance. My marriage with David has cooled significantly. We once talked about starting a family before and after I turned 30, but that dream now feels distant. While they dine out lavishly, I'm left managing the leftovers and feeling overwhelmed with frustration. Yet two reasons keep me enduring this ordeal. One is my hobby on social media. Posting about my daily struggles at home and work has surprisingly gained popularity, serving as a therapeutic outlet. The other, more significant reason is my promise to my late father-in-law. He entrusted me with this printing company, particularly its critical finances and client relations. His trust in me was profound, often apologizing for his wife and son's behavior, urging me not to tolerate their foolishness. I feel compelled to honor his legacy by safeguarding what he built. Despite their accusations, calling me lazy and money-hungry, I patiently explain our financial reality. What happened to David's savings? There should be something left, my mother-in-law demanded, oblivious to the fact that my father-in-law's savings were depleted long ago, thanks to their extravagant spending. David even took out a bank loan in the company's name without consulting me, further complicating our finances. Their ignorance and accusations against my late father-in-law's integrity disgust me. He was an honest man who never resorted to tax evasion or secret accounts, contrary to their baseless claims. As I pondered whether continuing to endure their money-driven antics was my way of honoring my father-in-law, a shocking scene unfolded one Friday night. A long-standing client urgently needed a sample print for a new product catalog over the weekend. Despite David being out drinking, I took it upon myself to deliver the sample directly to the client. On my way back, I froze at the sight ahead. Walking arm in arm were David and a woman. Beside them, my mother-in-law cozied up to them, oblivious to my presence. I couldn't believe my eyes. As they chatted carefreely, I distanced myself, stunned and betrayed. I recognized her instantly when I saw her profile. It was Anna, our former employee. My thoughts froze as I stood there, watching them chat happily and disappear to a high-end barbecue restaurant in the distance. I remained rooted to the spot in shock. I don't recall how I managed to get home afterward. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in front of my computer, replaying the scene in my mind. Seeing David and Anna together like that, it was clear their relationship wasn't typical. Despite our strained marriage, witnessing such betrayal ignited a deep anger within me. If David and Anna were involved romantically, it would explain everything, especially my mother-in-law's unexpected presence with them. It seemed my mother-in-law and Anna had been friends since long ago, but her nonchalant enjoyment of their closeness today was unsettling. Could it be that David's affair with Anna had her approval? I couldn't fathom such a betrayal, yet it would make sense of their behavior since my father-in-law's passing. I wanted to protect the printing company entrusted to me, but I felt lost. Saturday passed without David or my mother-in-law returning. It wasn't until Sunday afternoon that they finally showed up, claiming they had been at a downtown spa together. Together, you say? Wasn't Anna there too? I calmly questioned, hitting a nerve as their anger erupted. What's wrong with Anna? She's just concerned for Mom and me. David defended, his tone defensive. She knows you're trying to control my father's savings on your own. Their emotional outbursts confirmed my suspicions. They had been colluding with Anna against me. I'm divorcing a woman who hoards my father's savings, David declared sharply. If you're so keen on leaving, then go. Accepting his words, I calmly replied, understood. I will leave, and swiftly departed. My bags were packed the day before, ready to be delivered to my parents' house. I could return later for the rest. Leaving that place was all I wanted. David's final words pierced me as I bit my lip, fists clenched tight. A week later, I returned to complete the divorce proceedings and hand over my late father-in-law's company. David, my mother-in-law, and even Anna were all present. Sign it quickly, David demanded, thrusting the divorce papers at me before I could review them. My mother-in-law interjected sharply, "It's too late for apologies. You should be grateful David and I aren't suing you." Ignoring her jab, I checked the papers David had handed me and silently signed my name. As I looked up, I noticed all three of them smirking. "Give me all the company's books and documents," David ordered, eyeing the drawer of my desk. I retrieved the files and handed them over. David eagerly opened the bank books, flanked by my scrutinizing mother-in-law and Anna. Their smug expressions quickly soured. "What's this?" Anna exclaimed, noting the balance in the bank book. "This can't be right." My mother-in-law peered over David's shoulder, muttering, "Isn't this incorrect?" David turned to me accusingly, thrusting the bank book in my direction. "What does a balance of $30 mean?" I calmly explained, "It represents our total assets. While we generate around $22,000 monthly, our expenses are substantial. The lease fees for our machinery alone exceed $1 million monthly. We also have significant costs for electricity, loans on delivery trucks, and forklifts, not to mention the ongoing repayment of a bank loan taken after my father-in-law's passing, which exceeds $3,000 monthly." Their incredulous expressions didn't waver. "There's no way that's right," my mother-in-law retorted. "We print and deliver every day. How can we have no money?" I continued, "Despite our revenue, personal loans mismanaged by my mother-in-law and David require over $2,000 monthly, which I have been managing alone, including all living expenses." "I have explained this already," I reiterated calmly. "Without the burden of your repayments, I'll have over $2,000 monthly free, which will make things much easier." "Don't lie about us having no money when we work hard every day," David shouted emotionally, refusing to understand. "Yelling won't change the facts," I replied evenly. "Yes, there's revenue, but it's already been eaten up by your loans and your mother's. After repayments, we might save around $5,000. Realizing they wouldn't be able to afford anything during the repayment period was no longer my concern. They would learn the hard way. "When will these repayments end?" Anna asked pragmatically, cutting through the tension. "The bank loan has 3 more years, and David and his mother's personal loans have over 5, I replied bluntly, causing Anna to gasp in shock. "So we'll be in the red for the next 3 years?" Anna sighed disappointedly. "At this rate, most likely," I affirmed coldly, grateful that Anna seemed to be grasping the reality. "What about my husband's hidden account? He had one, right, Anna?" my mother-in-law interjected, trying to placate Anna, who had provided the information. "Yeah, there must be a secret account," Anna pressed on, her focus self-centered. "I've never heard of it or seen it while he was alive," I stated firmly. "Perhaps everyone should search for it after this." I couldn't fathom Anna's insistence on this hidden account, as if she were in some drama. Among the three who were gradually coming to terms with reality, David finally posed a practical question. "Wait, then how have you managed this financial issue so far?" he asked, finally getting to the crux of the matter. "Ah, yes," I began, explaining in detail. "I've been covering our living costs and bridging the gap with my personal income. I have a blog called Small Factory Struggle Diary with over 1 million followers. The substantial advertising revenue it generates is deposited into my personal account each month, requiring separate tax filings from the company's financial statements. I think you'll understand once you review the books later, but the company owes repayment obligations due to the supplementary costs from my personal lending. Please consult with a tax accountant or lawyer," I advised calmly. "That's the main point I wanted to convey today. Regardless of the divorce settlement, I will become a creditor in the future. I used to support their lives because they were family, but that's no longer my concern. Of course, I expect to recover the money I lent," I stated firmly. "David, even as a CEO, you're no different from someone in dire financial straits," Anna remarked, grasping the situation quickly. "I can't be with you in this situation. Goodbye," Anna declared, turning to leave swiftly. David and his mother hurriedly followed, trying to convince her otherwise. "It's fine, we can secure additional financing from the bank if needed." "Anna, you can trust my husband's company," my ex-mother-in-law reassured, desperately hoping to salvage the situation. Having said all I needed to, I decided it was time to leave. Months later, I heard that David and his mother had approached the bank for additional financing, only to be rejected. They'd reluctantly rescheduled to reduce monthly payments and extend the repayment period. This outcome didn't surprise me. It was exactly what I had anticipated. Pathetic indeed. A few weeks after our divorce proceedings, David and my ex-mother-in-law visited my parents' home unexpectedly. Emily, I was foolish. The company can't function without you. Please come back, David pleaded, kneeling at the entrance. I'm truly sorry, Emily. I've warned him as well. Can't you please help David? My ex-mother-in-law added, also kneeling beside him. Facing their financial crisis, they seemed desperate, but it was too late. My parents stood firm, refusing to let them inside. The conversation remained at the doorway. You said everything would be fine with enough sales. Why not seek advice from Anna instead of me? I coldly dismissed them, watching them leave with their heads down. As they walked away, my parents warned them never to return. It was a surreal moment, but I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Rescheduling loans wouldn't solve their problems. Most of David's clients had terminated their contracts and sought my services instead. Since I had resigned via email from my personal address, they naturally approached me for data modifications. David couldn't manage these clients, being computer illiterate. I secured an exclusive contract with a major printing company for personal design services, ensuring smooth printing arrangements. Rumors circulated that Anna completely ignored David, while my ex-mother-in-law visibly struggled, having lost weight and her ability to eat properly. They faced complaints and penalties from remaining clients. Their downfall was swift and self-inflicted. Adjusting to my new life, I decided to visit my father-in-law's grave. Standing there, I remembered his words. Emily, I entrust my printing company to you. If you can't tolerate my foolish wife and son, feel free to sever ties with them. They're not bad people, but they are easily swayed by money. Perhaps he foresaw this outcome. I apologize sincerely for failing to protect his company, sharing updates from my lawyer. Father-in-law, your company is heading towards bankruptcy under David's management. My lawyer suggests I buy it. What should I do? Buying the company would cost tens of millions, but now it seemed a small price to pay. Offering it as a subsidiary to the major printing company I had an exclusive contract with seemed viable. If David changed his ways, perhaps I could consider hiring him as an employee. But I knew my father-in-law in heaven would shake his head and say something like, Emily, you don't need to force yourself.